So in 2013, I went to the gynecologist for a routine checkup, what I thought was a routine checkup, and they saw some things on my cervix that they didn't like, so they ran some biopsies. Long story short, it came back that I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And it's not something that I wanted to accept, but I didn't tell anybody at first. I was really angry. I didn't understand why. And to make it clearer, they said eventually said it was stage 4. I wasn't married at the time. I didn't tell my family, I didn't tell anybody, but I did eventually tell my now husband. And we were just friends at the time, but he was there for me, and he really made sure that I stayed in God. And we came to church. I went up to the altar every Sunday, and I asked for healing. Well, I claimed my healing. And then I spoke to my pastors, and they made sure that I knew where to find my healing in the Word. I stood on the Word, I meditated on the Word, and when I couldn't stand on the Word and meditate on the Word, my church, my husband, they really supported me, backed me up. And it was a long journey, but to make the long journey short, God prevailed, and I was eventually healed completely without treatment because I refused treatment. And if for no other reason, it was because I didn't want to lose my hair, and I didn't want to go through that process because I had seen what it had done to others in my family. So I refused to go through treatment at first, and according to the world, I was being very stubborn. But I found a holistic doctor that was willing to work with me. I stayed in church. I gave offerings, even when I didn't really understand why I was giving offerings. I put a seed on my healing, and it manifested. And in 2014, just a year later, I was declared fully in remission and then fully healed from cancer. And then there were some other issues I had. When we did get married, we wanted to have a baby. I had 3 miscarriages. But again, we put a seed on that thing. And just a month after we put a seed on it, I was pregnant. And now we have a beautiful baby girl.
The process kind of, with Charlotte, we tried for the first, 2.5, 3 years to get pregnant. And then after that, we just kind of, say, forget it. We don't want to have any children. With you just coming out of cancer and things like that, so we kind of just put it down and just call it completely quit. So I went to strategies with my pastor, and I heard other great stories from couples that had the same issue of their wife not being able to bear children. So it really on the inside of me, my spirit leaped. And when First Lady Bridget down in Strategies in Houston, she called up families that wanted to have children. She called them up to the altar. Of course, I went that year. My wife didn't go, and I was able to get prayer that we would have a child. So, like she said, 3 miscarriages. So, First Lady said, somebody's wife is pregnant now. I can make a phone call. She's pregnant. Come home. Of course, she loses the child. But one of the good things about hearing the word and hearing from other strong couples in the faith that they actually know what to do. They actually know, how to pray. They know, there are different ways to get things to manifest in your life. So one of the ways was we did put a seed on it for our sacrificial seed for Easter, and that we wanted to have a healthy child. But that was at the end of the list. That's what makes this so, great. Is it was at the end of the list. It was first a house. We wanted to get a brand new house. New jobs, increase, and the baby was the very last thing. And guess what comes first? The seed. So I think that's what makes this even more a great story. That faith really does work, and God is real. And when you really stand on what you believe, things have to manifest in your life, and they have to come to pass.